Come on.
And then you just talk to the cameras and to me, just depending on the conversation.
Dude, I got this down.
And we're live now, so hi guys.
Hey.
Just getting set up on everywhere. Have to remember what this one does. Okay, Twitter. Where are you, Twitter? That's the casual show. You can have gum. I don't know.
Glad I wore pants though, because you can see it.
Remember, we're live now. We're live now, remember.
I know, I'm just messing.
I do.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, you are listening to and watching the UltraPerformShow. The show about business, life, and relationship. I'm just setting up our feeds on social media. We are now on YouTube Live, on Twitter, on Facebook, what else? And Instagram.
We're everywhere.
Oh, wait, I'm going to go live.
And now we are.
I need a producer just to do those things. I have a segment producer. You talked to her, Paula.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's great. And just 1 second, guys. Forgot a couple very important things here. Shut the door, sometimes it gets noisy. And now we're sealed. So I have a very special guest today. You can also find us at blogtalkradio.com/ultralife. And formerly it was Ultra Life Show, but now it's the Ultra Perform Show. Performing your best at business and life. And today I have Cory on our show. I met Cory about 10 years ago. And he reminded me of that. Was it 10 years?
I met you about 10 years ago. It's probably been 8 or 9 since we've seen each other.
So I got the box at your place.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah, and just want to mention really quickly, you haven't changed at all.
I haven't
It was
changed
shocking.
at all?
Usually
It's
when you
great.
haven't seen someone in that amount of time, we see them and they've aged a little, as I know I have, but it's crazy. You look great.
Good, great. Well, it's called, what do I say? Passion Living with Adam. On a show called Passion Living with Adam. We do health, wellness, exercise, peace of mind, living a passionate life. And
yeah.
I do a webinar about staying ageless, and I really believe it's mindset and what you put in your body and how you live.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to know it's working.
It is, absolutely, yeah.
If I looked really old, then I couldn't really do that webinar.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, I'm not pitching anything. My first reaction was, with it being that long, is you really haven't changed.
That's great.
Usually when you meet someone after that amount of time.
I probably look better, actually.
Yes.
All right. So this isn't about me. Today we have him on here. He's a real estate entrepreneur. That's how he presents himself. And I wanted him to share with us today, like, where did we meet, first of all? How did we meet in the first place?
Yeah, so
what you've done before you did real estate.
Yeah, that's great. So I've got quite a varied background. I've had my hands in a lot of things over the years, and I'm in my 50s, so I have plenty, the calendar's giving me enough time to go back and do a lot of things. When I met you, I had just left a corporate job. I was the director of sales for a credit repair company locally, and had the opportunity to go partner with somebody and open that store where I met you. So it was 2007, the real estate market was at its peak. And I leased.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, leased that commercial space.
I remember 2008 more than I remember 2007.
Yeah. 2007 is when I locked myself into a lease. So from a business standpoint, you can imagine the challenges associated with
So what did you do? Because I just mentioned I had a boxing.
Yeah. So what I did, I had a background as a UPS driver, and when my office was in that area when I was working for another company, and there was kind of to me, it looked like there was an opportunity in that area to service businesses by offering shipping and printing and some of those types of services. And there wasn't a UPS store or anything similar. So at the time, I went out with a partner who financed the project, and we opened a space in a strip mall in South Salt Lake. We made some assumptions. We assumed that being close to Costco, that would be that would eliminate a marketing budget. That we have tracked.
And many people do that. Many
Yeah.
people will assume the one thing will do it, and sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does,
It's
but
rare.
Mhm.
It's rare it does it. And I
Yeah.
don't know what the statistics are, but it's probably point something.
Yes, and so in hindsight, that was probably the folly, because you're locking yourself into a 5-year lease at a time when the commercial real estate market is at its peak. So you can imagine what my monthly nut was to cover in that space.
Mm-hmm.
You've got utilities, you've got leases on equipment, you've got employees. So what it required to run that place, and it was a graduated lease, so for the first 3 years that lease would go up every year.
Mm.
So there were some challenges
hate
with it.
those.
There were some real challenges, but like you say, you have to make assumptions going in. But I think as a business owner, one of the big lessons I took away from that, and it has to do with assuming that the lease is going to be is going to eliminate a marketing budget. That you've got to leave yourself room to adapt your plan. Like, you don't change your goal, but be willing to change your plan to get where you're going. And I think
So adapt. I call it adapt.
Absolutely.
Adapt to what's going on, and yourself too, because you're changing also.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned. And when we talk about real estate, we can talk about that. But owning a business like that, where you're committed to that amount of cash flow every month is gone, just rolls out the door. And if you haven't left yourself room to adapt, you've got some real challenges. So I worked hard. You pedal like crazy to make the thing fly. But there are also external influences, and again, can you adapt? That's the question. So
adapt and adapt fast.
Yeah, and when I look back at them, there are a lot of things that I can see areas where I could have executed better. No doubt.
But that's hindsight.
But it's
that's
hindsight, and those are the lessons.
My dad sold his house last year, and he wanted to move to Egypt. He wanted to move to Egypt for 20 years. I don't know how long, right?
Yeah.
Since I want to retire in Egypt, I want to retire in Egypt. Unfortunately, Egypt's changed, and he is old enough now he couldn't handle Egypt, so
Really?
he didn't. I mean, I don't know if I could have stopped him at that point,
Yeah.
because I didn't realize how ill he was.
Yeah.
But he sold his house, and I took him to Egypt, and we did a documentary about it. I don't know
Oh, you
if I
did?
mentioned that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
it's probably the best thing I've ever produced. We have a studio audience today, by the way. Say hi, Edith.
Hi, everyone.
It's Edith, everyone.
That's a voice from beyond. But we took him to Egypt, we being me, but so many great friends helped me get him there. 'Cause
Yeah.
They were pack ratting, there was all this stuff. Like I said, my upstairs is full of stuff still. There's truckloads of stuff. And he got there and he was, I don't want to be here.
No.
Even sick, he was like, I don't want to be here. A week, I thought it'd be a month. And the ticket was to get them back. But we came back in 2 weeks, and in hindsight, maybe I would have tried to stop him from selling the house.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't.
He kept telling me he wanted to die there, and I was like, well, I need to honor him, even if he's going to die there. I didn't want him to die in the streets because it was so hectic. Not unsafe, it's just so hectic. It took someone that has lived there,
Yeah.
and he hasn't been there for, who knows, 45, 50
the
years,
pace,
40 years.
pace
Yeah,
of
the
living there.
pace, and
Yeah.
everything's changed, and he was confused, and so we brought him back. But hindsight,
Yeah.
it's easy to beat ourselves up for that.
Right.
So, just for everyone listening and watching, I just want them to know, don't beat yourself up about the past because you didn't know what was about to happen.
Can I speak to that really quickly?
Sure.
It's something that's kind of interesting. I have a 22-year-old son, and he's brilliant. He's creative. He's driven. He's currently working in IT. But one of the things that I experienced recently is, I've talked to him since he was a teenager about owning your own business, about you're going to build your dream or someone else's. And in a lot of my conversations with him, to mention to him, Alex, you can rely on me. I have a lot of experience. I've stepped in a lot of bear traps. There are so many things I've done, and as you know, there's no learning is as impactful as a mistake or a misstep, right? Like those lessons stay with you. So for the last few years, I went through a phase where I kind of burned out on being an entrepreneur and decided I'm going to just go. I'm going to go work for somebody, and it's been good for me, and there have been lessons there. But in that phase, to tell him, if you'll let me, I can teach you a lot of lessons, but you got to trust me. These are things I've really learned from experience. And then in the last year, to finally allow myself to not value that for him, but to value it for me, and say, wait a minute, why is that lesson good for him but not for me? Like if I really believe that I have that experience, then
let me give you advice on not listening to anyone.
And then yes, so what am I teaching him if I'm saying, look, go out and create something, go out and build your dream and do what you want to do. You know, the world's open. You can almost make mad. Well, I hate to use the word magic, but it kind of is. Like if you really believe, there are no limits. And to be punching the clock, so to speak, and then telling your kid that you're giving them a mixed message. Mm. And to me, one of the transformations for me jumping back into believing that I can still create something was when I realized that point, that if I really believe that lesson, then I get to live it. Mm. Right?
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Yeah. Whenever I give advice, I always tell them this. You have to do what you think is best. Like I have a friend that talks to me about her relationship. I'm like, I'll give her what I think, and then I'm like, but you need to decide, because everything I'm saying, you might not want to break up with them or stay with them or whatever. Don't listen to me. You have to decide. Mm-hmm. You have to own your power.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I look at myself. Would I do that? Oh, and then sometimes I'll address, I'm struggling with that too, but this is what I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can do it.
And the crazy thing about life is that we're all on our own journey, right? Yeah. So
tell us about that, your journey in real estate and what you're doing.
Yeah, so prior to meeting you, I had worked as a director of sales for a credit repair company, and the company still, it's the largest credit repair company in the nation now, so they've continued to grow beyond the time when I left. But prior to that, I was a real estate appraiser with my ex-wife, and it was a tremendous experience for me, learning the real estate valuation process, the factors that affect the value of real estate. It just was a great background. So I did that for 6 years. I was a certified appraiser. We even had the FHA review contract, which was really powerful because we would go through and just review hundreds of appraisals every month and critique them. And you get to a point where when you're looking at that many appraisals, you start to view your appraisals through the eye of a reviewer, and it actually just makes you better. Mm. So that was my background in real estate. There was a turn in the market at the end of the 90s, and I'm sure you remember when the NASDAQ kind of imploded at the end of the 90s. Tech stocks took a dive in 99. It affected the bond market, it affected real estate rates. So at that point, I made a conscious decision. I was married to another appraiser to diversify. We couldn't both do this because it became so sporadic. So I jumped into the corporate world, and that was 2000. So for the last 10, 15 years, I've been in corporate America, but it's been, again, those lessons have been invaluable. Just some of the things I learned, for example, when I talked about my job at the credit team doing credit repair sales, we built a team of up to 125 sales agents. And being involved in a hiring process. When I go back to real estate, and I'll bring this back around, but you think about going through that process of how many people you have to hire to maintain a staff that big.
Constantly.
Constantly.
Because people move on, quit, get sick.
Yeah.
I thought about that a lot. For me, I do marketing for clients, but I don't. That's not my side of it. Yeah. But I do wonder, what does it take to get? When I go, because I think I'm always business minded, I walk into Trader Joe's, I grab my apples, I want them hard and fresh, because they'll go bad in a week. I'm like, what does it take to have a system in place that I get these apples so good? Yeah. And wherever else I go, they can't get it right. But here at Trader Joe's, whatever they're doing, their formula works. So I go buy my apples from Trader Joe's. Go to Trader Joe's and buy your apples. And Edith agrees.
Yeah, so it's got the Edith stamp of approval. But to that
she could be the studio audience. You can clap sometimes. Yeah, that'd be good. I'll have like 4 or 5 chairs in the future. Here's our studio audience. Yeah, you start somewhere and you work your way up.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah,
do you get into the real estate?
Okay, but let me just make this point really quickly because
We only have a half hour. Remember?
I understand. But this is really kind of important, and this is one of the real values that I believe I bring to a real estate transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And it relates to this experience specifically. Because we had to have such a focused hiring engine to keep that. We were hiring mainly college-age kids, so there was some turnover, but we could get those guys converting. They were happy. We had a really great team environment, but being involved in that hiring process, it was really amazing. You know, you talk about the DISC profiles, the 4 personality types. It was really cool to be involved in hiring on a day-to-day basis and honing that without even realizing that you're doing it, because you're making a decision on how I'm going to build this team. Does this person fit my team, and how do they fit?
How they respond
How
to
do
the
they fit?
questions, right? How are they dressed?
Yeah, and I think it still helps because ultimately, at the end of the day, if I'm going to serve you as your real estate agent, it's paramount that I get you, not just on a surface level, but that I understand what motivates you, and that when you communicate with me, I understand how you communicate. I'm removing the filter and I'm saying, okay, this is what I know about Adam. Get to know you a little bit, but then I can break down some of those walls and start to communicate on a real level. And I think you know, you talk about relationships. I think as people learn to communicate in business, I think it helps in personal relationships too. There's no difference.
Well, it does for sure.
There's no difference if you develop those
There's
skills.
a little difference. Like how I am on the show, I noticed in my documentary I was dealing with some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, no censorship here. I'm dealing with some crap with my parents, and they're both kind of goofy. And then we were also filming for my show, Passion About Adam. I turn it on like I did for the show, right?
Woo!
What I've noticed is that if you do too much of that in real life, it's too much for most people. It's like, whoa, you're too excited.
Yeah,
You're too passionate. And I use passion a lot because
you're right.
That's what I talk about passion and living your passion and all that.
Yeah.
But it's too much for people, and they're like, whoa. And that's why in sales they talk about meeting people at the level they're at. You can be a little more, but you can be too much more. They can be at 5 and you're at 10. Hey, how are you guys doing today? It's so good to see you. For me, it drives me crazy because I'm like, really? There's no way you're always that excited, right? Or you're that excited to go to the bathroom? I'm going to the bathroom, yes!
Right? No, I totally agree. And it's funny, there are, Tony Robbins on his website has a personality profile that's really powerful. And there's no obligation to do it, but I think it's the DISC profile, D-I-S-C. And it takes 10 minutes to do it, but it's cool how insightful it is. And I think anybody in any business should really take the time to learn that, because I think one of the mistakes that salespeople in general make, or business people, is that we always want to communicate by saying what we want to say, right? And we want to get our point across. At the end of the day, when we can give that up,
you have to listen.
Yeah, give that up and just say, okay, I'm going to shut up, because it doesn't matter what I say if you don't want to hear it, and if I don't know how to present it to you.
One of my sales tips is the first rule of sales is listen.
Yeah.
That's
really listen.
Because a lot of people will ask you what's your pitch. I'm like, well, it depends on the customer.
Yep.
I have to listen and see what the needs are. Then I have everything about the product. It depends if I talk about 1 or 8.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 3 is the first thing. Oh, you want to know if it sells? Here's our guarantee. We guarantee it will sell. If it doesn't sell, we'll buy it back.
Yeah.
Next, we also market it for you. So it depends on what how they respond a lot of the time.
Yeah. And
Now, if they want to hear the whole thing, then you have to give them the whole thing. But rarely is that. It's usually conversation, not please stand here and present yourself.
Yeah.
But so tell us more about Barber.
So Barber Group, this is really kind of a cool transition. So I had I was really blessed and fortunate to work with the company that I just left. I want to say that. So I worked for a company called England Logistics, and one of the most amazing group of people I've ever worked with, and the company treated me really well. But inside me was that bug, and I had this kind of a revelation earlier in the year. I was thinking, what can I do at my job to make more money? And one day it was like a lightning bolt hit me and said, it's not up to your employer to determine your income. Stop. It's not their job.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And I remember telling that to my supervisor, because he found out that I had started doing real estate on
You
the
should
side.
level that in the very beginning. That's a
Right?
great subject. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful.
So many people, they got that.
But
It changed their lives.
Okay, but here's the thing, Adam. I was 55 years old when that finally hit me.
Mm.
I mean, I was at a point where I was thinking, okay, I recently went through a divorce and on good terms with my ex-wife, and we have a great relationship with my kids, so we're doing the best we can. But there were some added financial concerns when that happened. So at my job, I was thinking, well, what can I do to make more? And then just getting to it was, you have those key moments in your life when a message just hits you.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't just
Sure.
sort of tap you on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like smacks you in the face and kicks
It
you in the
does.
groin and says, listen, this one's serious. And that was the message that I thought. It was like,
That's good.
it's not your employer's job to create your income. So if there's anything else you walk away from today, this is the lesson that from this old dude. I've been down the road a lot. This is real. It's not up to your
Yeah,
employer
you
to
need
create
come
your
You
income.
need to listen to my webinar about being angel.
Really?
You know.
Okay, cool. I
I
like
know
that.
what it is.
Okay,
Let's say that again.
okay, this is, underline this. Well, you can't because it's a video, but in your mind, underline this. It's not up to your employer to determine your income. So it started, my nephew was in working with bank-owned properties in Texas, and he's liquidated over 1,000 properties in his career. Moved back to Utah and started selling real estate. So one thing that I know from my experience in business is the value of mentors. And to find a mentor, not just who has experience, but who is invested in you. That's when you really hit the sweet spot. When you find a mentor that has the technical knowledge, has the demonstrated results, and is invested in you, if you're willing to do what they recommend that you do, you'll get there.
And it's that's what you said is so rare when they get invested in you, because there's tons of mentors
Yeah.
that want you to pay them, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I want to get paid too, but for them to actually be vested or
Mhm.
invested in you is rare. Like Jeff McGee is on my vision board. He's a Fortune 50 coach. He has
Wow.
a magazine. He has 37 books. I can text him after the show and say, hey, when do you want to be on the show again?
That's fantastic.
I have a question for you, and he's there. He doesn't have to be. He's invested in me. But it's rare to find people like that. Bert Martinez, who helped me do this radio show, he has a show called Money for Lunch. I know I say radio show or video, but I added this part of it.
I'm gonna take my glasses off. I think I look kind of weird.
Well, you look weird in different places.
I
The
know.
lighting's different each camera, and I can control.
No, I can't see anybody though, Adam.
Like that one's the best camera. We have the most followers there. You can stare at that.
Okay,
one.
I'll stare there.
No,
No,
I'm just kidding. So,
So let me talk about
So,
this
yeah,
mentor.
I guess-
So my nephew moved, and his wife moved back to Utah, and he earned the Rookie of the Year honor with the Wasatch Front multiple MLS service. He sold more homes than any other first-year agent. So knowing that I have a relationship with this kid from the time he was this tall, and knowing that he's someone I trust, and that I've always wanted to jump back into real estate, but it had to be. That's what I was looking for. Will someone mentor me and will they be invested in me? Because I understand real estate. I've got really comfortable with my background and understanding how to value properties, and I'm super comfortable with my ability to connect with people. Like if you ask me because we all know what we're good at and where our opportunities are. That's the thing that it's taken me all these years to figure out. What is it that Cory does that's valuable? Where can I create value? And it's in that. It's in adapting my communication and really connecting. And it's not that and here's one thing that I would say to everybody, and I think I'm pretty sure most of you understand this, but this is really important. It can't be a manipulation, right? If you're really communicating, when you really get communication at its core, you're committed to communicating. You're not committed to any outcome. Does that make sense? So when I meet a first time, someone that I'm representing for the first time, I'm not really trying to sell them a house. It's not even, it's so far removed from my first experience with a new customer or a new client. It's really about, can I connect with these guys? Can we figure out how to work together, how to communicate so that we can go to the next step? And it's been really cool to let myself just be in that space and not expect the outcome. And by doing that in the first couple of months, I had 6 homes under contract just because I didn't expect it. I expected to.
Six, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you see people quit in a couple months.
Yeah.
Anything. It's not just real estate. Real estate specifically, but everything people quit.
Yeah, and you have to be committed. At some point, I think you have to be committed and understand that no matter, depending on the size of the prize, I think that life's going to challenge you proportionately. If you're going after something big, life's going to kick you around a little bit to see how bad you want it. Am I wrong?
I've been kicked around a lot.
Right? But I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong at all. And you said the size of the prize. When I was grossing years after we met, I started grossing $50,000 a month in sales, and I hit $69,000, and I was so happy to work.
Yeah.
And I was working 16 hours a day.
Yeah, and it's easy.
And I was like, yeah, what else you got? I'll do it. Click, 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 ordering. It didn't matter. It's like, yeah, I gotta get this done. So I realized what I related money to is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
My next goal is 100,000 now.
Yeah.
But that's what I realized was for me, I was like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And the value of the prize.
Yeah. And that brings up
that's
another
what you
point.
said, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going right, the value of the
Yeah.
prize.
That kind of brings up the success cycle. I think one of the other things that you learn the longer you're, the longer you go out and you do this entrepreneur thing is you realize that it cycles much like everything else in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is a straight line. So you can't get too high when it's good and you can't get too low when it's bad. And you have to just understand. You just have to be able to adapt. What do I do when I'm down? How can I adapt my plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get too down on it. Can I share a couple of quotes with you? These are two of my
Yeah,
favorite
of course.
quotes. And I don't know who said this.
You have 5 minutes.
Are we really? We only have 5
I
minutes?
told you. It's
Gee,
just
whiz.
but
Okay,
we
but
can
these
talk-
are really important.
So
So let me
when it starts, just so you know, when it starts announcing 90 seconds or so,
Yeah.
just ignore it. We can keep going.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll keep you on time. But
It's all right.
Two
Don't worry
quotes
about it.
from where I am on my path right now. One that impacted me 4 or 5 years ago, and it was at a point where I was committed to getting my head back and figuring out some things in my life, and it was one of the low spots. But I read an Emerson quote, and it's probably the quote of my life. This is the one you have to say, what is your best quote ever? And he said simply, every wall is a door.
Every wall is a door.
And it's one of the deepest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then recently.
Well, what about the other saying that says, stop hitting the wall? You're just hitting
I
yourself
ignore
up
that
against the
one.
wall.
No, I don't know. I don't know that quote.
Yeah, and I go like, well,
I'm
climb
busting
it,
the
go
doors.
around it, go
I'm
through
busting
it.
the door
Right?
through it. Yeah, busting
I never figured out how to get around this wall.
But the other quote's really cool, and I just saw this the other day, and it was, the obstacles are not in your path, the obstacles are your path.
Hmm.
And I think when you choose to look at it that way, then they get really powerful. So let me pitch just for a second, tell you about Barber.
Perfect.
So I'm really fortunate. I told you that my nephew and his wife are mentoring me. So Ben and Kim Barber are agents in Layton, Utah. They're crushing it, and they've been helping me get my business started. They've invited me onto their team along with my brother and with a couple of other agents and an assistant. So we've got a team of 7 people. The beautiful thing about this team is we're go-getters. Like, we don't pretend to do real estate. It's what we do. We get out there every day. We'll wear the tires off our cars. We like to think that we build good, solid relationships with the people that we work with. My nephew has a background in selling bank-owned properties. I have an appraisal background. My brother was a builder. Kim has, my nephew's wife has so many things that she brings in. I don't even know where to start. So the cool thing is that if I'm helping you, you don't just get me, you get this team of people. And I think that in real estate, you're going to see that more and more because it empowers us to be more valuable to our buyers and sellers. You're not just getting me. If there's something I can't answer, I've got a team. And we all work together to continue to grow our business. So it's a pretty cool thing.
So how can they reach you?
So a couple of ways to reach me. I live in South Jordan area, so I bought the URL mydaybreakhome.com. That will redirect to my Coldwell Banker site. But I've sold homes all up and down the Wasatch Front. So I've worked in Tooele, I've worked in
90 seconds.
Davis County,
If I know how to turn it off.
Weber County.
I would
I've
just
worked
say
in-
no. Since
Yeah, we're good. Salt Lake County, so anywhere along the Wasatch Front. I do know the area because I was an appraiser in those markets. But I'm focusing on Daybreak as a community. It's only 30% developed. I don't know if people realize that.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so much
And there's
there.
so much growth there. Infrastructure is solid. I just like aesthetically. I like the way the neighborhood was built. I like that it was built around aesthetics and around walkability, right? Walking to parks and it's just it's a cool area. Bike trails. So I think it's a good place for me to be. I grew up in the south end of the valley, so I know that whole area. But if anyone wants to reach out, if you're looking for just an evaluation on your home, and you go to Cory Barber Realtor on Facebook, just to my Facebook page, and message me that you're interested in home valuation, we'll do that for you at no cost if you just want to see what your home's worth right now. And for buyers, if you just message me through Cory Barber Realtor on Facebook.
Cory Barber Realtor.
CoryBarber. It's my name, Realtor. You'll see my page. But if you'll message me, and if you're looking for a home, something that a lot of first-time buyers don't know is that the commission isn't paid by the buyer. So the seller, when they list their home, they negotiate the commission, right? So our buyer services are completely free to a buyer. So what I always tell people is put me to work and let me help you find the right home. But if anyone goes to my Facebook page and mentions that they saw me here with you, and we're able to get them in a home, I'll give them a $500 rebate at the end of the deal. I'll write you a check.
What do I do? I'm like, wait a minute. I saw offer on the board. We have this little board here, notes we take before the show. I'm like, offer? What offer?
Yeah, we'll work it out. I'll take care of you, man.
It's fine, I'm just kidding.
I thought, isn't it good enough that you look like you're 17 still? Gee whiz.
17, there you're going. I do get ID'd occasionally, which is funny. I'm like, oh, really? Here?
It never happens to me.
Then they look like, is this fake? No, it's not fake.
Yeah, so it's really great catching up with you. So just really quickly for those of you guys out there, I knew Adam a long time ago, and I've always known him as an entrepreneur. I liked his spirit. I've always liked your energy. So, Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Blink, and it's if you haven't read it, I recommend for everyone Blink. Read the book. But one of my takeaways from the book was to pay attention to what the first word is that comes into my mind when I meet somebody.
Oh.
And the book's about understanding instinct and trusting it, right? The power of rapid cognition is how he refers to it. Mm-hmm. But
you have to practice it to master it.
You do.
And I've been working with that too.
Yeah.
I see it differently, but yeah.
Yeah, my first impression of you was energy, which is kind of interesting because it's cool. Once you get good at this, you can go back and think back to what was the first word that I thought?
Energy. What kind of energy?
You just had. I saw you as just vibrant energy.
Cool. Must be why it's hard for me to find a partner that can keep up. Just like, hey, it's midnight, let's go dancing. And they're like, yeah, I'm ready for bed.
No, this dude, Energizer Bunny, man, he's a good guy. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show. Keep listening and watching for our show. You can find us at blogtalkradio.com/ultralife. Eventually be UltraPerform. It's UltraLife right now. And you can find us on Twitter under Mr. Wow.
No way! That is
my product.
Okay, think about what I just said about the first time I met him, and then think about what his Twitter
name is. That's Twitter right there.
Hi, Twitter. So it's like they say in New York. Is this the Twitter? They call it the Twitter. I'm just kidding. They don't. And those of you in New York, no offense, that's really kind of my old.
I was born in New York.
I know, and I'm just playing around.
It's a bad New Yorker voice.
It's really more of a yes man from New Jersey.
Oh, there you go. And there sounds right. So, also you can find us on Instagram under my name, Adam Tajadeen. And you can also find us on YouTube, YouTube Live under UltraPerform Inc. UltraPerform Inc. under the UltraPerform Show or the UltraLife Show. And keep your eyes and ears open for us. Weekdays at 5 p.m. The show UltraPerform. Perform your best at business and life. Throws me off looking at all the different cameras. So take care, you guys. Thanks for watching. It'll take me a sec to shut everything down.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to the studio audience.
Thank you.